Hello everyone, my name is Kelsounds, and today we're going to be making the snare and hi-hat in our series. So this is going to be episode, episode 3. Yeah, there we go. Woo, forgot there for a second. So yeah, we're going to be making the snare and the hi-hat. So let's just dive right in. So first thing we're going to start out with is the snare, and yeah, first I'm going to make the groups on the bottom. So this is going to be the body. I'm going to make a pitch group, and then a group for the tail and transient. And then inside of each group, I'm just going to add an LFO. Okay, sweet. Oh, and then I'm going to add a volume group. So that'll just control the overall volume of our sound. Just gonna put LFO in there as well, close that, and we'll come back to that once we get to that step. Okay, so the body, I'm just gonna turn off the modulation, and let's see, create this kind of shape. I'm gonna turn the volume down and then modulate it with the LFO. Should probably lay out some MIDI as well. I went ahead and set it to C2. And I'm just going to turn up the rate. Sorry if you hear me just spamming the heck out of my keyboard. Then, of course, I can always just come back to this LFO and adjust things as we continue to make the patch. I'm going to add another new group, and I should probably name this body real quick. I'm going to rename this group noise, or I'm sorry, transient. I'm going to ahead and put a noise generator in there, and then I'm going to add a filter, do like a high pass, probably around 2000 kilohertz, and then add an envelope output. I'm going to go ahead and turn the modulation off inside of the LFO and go ahead and create this kind of shape. Actually, let me set this to 5 as well, the same rate as our first LFO. And yeah, I'm going to create something like this. And then now I'm just going to modulate our gain. Okay, perfect. And then the next thing I'm going to do is modulate the master pitch. So I'm just going to turn this to 5 as well. For the rate, I'm going to go ahead and turn the modulation off. And then go ahead and create something like this. Probably better modulate the pitch first. Oh, that sounds pretty good. And yeah, let's just mess around with the LFO. Okay, sweet. So without any effects or anything, this is what our snare sounds like. Pretty cool. I think the first thing I'm going to do is probably just go ahead and use a slice EQ and shape our sound a little bit more. Actually, I think I'm going to put a frequency shifter before this. Kind of just bring down the frequency a bit. Here, I'm going to go ahead and loop this so that way I'm not like smashing my keyboard. Sorry, this might get a little bit annoying, but don't worry, I'll have timestamps so that way you can just skip ahead from the longer parts of the video. And then I think I'm going to also run this through a shaper. I'm going to go ahead and grab another slice EQ, kind of lower down the sub here. Take away a little bit more of the sub with a slice EQ, and then go ahead and push the drive even more into it. I'm going to add a clipper. And then I always like to add OTT, so I'm going to add a OTT, turn up the end gain. Okay, I think I'm going to move to the post-processing, so I think we got our snare to sound the way I want it to sound. And so yeah, just adjusting a few of the settings here. Alright, sweet. So now I'm going to add another shaper inside of my post-processing So yeah, the snare is just a lot of distortion, really. Go ahead and clean it up a little bit more with another slice EQ. Kind of compress the signal a little bit. And then, yeah, then I'm just going to control the overall volume of our snare. And then the last thing I'm going to do is add a limiter and just push our sound, or push the in gain of our sound. And so it sounds like there's too much bass. Instead of cutting it with the EQ, I could just shorten the length of it. Okay, so here is the final result after some more tweaking inside of Faceplant for our snare. So I basically just kind of sped up this process a little bit just because it took me a little bit too long. But yeah, it's basically all just distortion, slice EQ, and then I used a clipper, and then modulation of the body, the transient, and the pitch modulation, which is also very important to give the snare its characteristic. And then I went ahead and modulated the overall volume with a gain snap-in all the way at the end of our effects. So after the effects groups, after the post-processing, just because if I get rid of the gain snap-in at the end here, it kind of loses a little bit of dynamic since I really squished the sound or crushed it with saturation. So as you can see, there's like no sort of dynamics going on. So that's why I went ahead and added that gain snap-in at the end here. I went ahead and also turned off the frequency shifter. I didn't like the way it sounded. But yeah, I went ahead and added that gain snap-in, and it gives the sound a little bit more dynamics. So yeah, this is our final snare, and then now we're going to move on to the hi-hat. Okay, so for the hi-hat, I'm going to go ahead and insert another faceplant, and I am going to use audio rate modulation with a filter cutoff. So here, I'll just show you guys really quickly. I am going to use a square wave, add a new group, and add a filter cutoff. And before this, I'm going to put an aux and send the output of the aux, or of our first group, to this aux, and then send the output of this aux to the filter cutoff, and then set it to a bandpass. Turn up the Q, and then modulate the phase of our analog generator here in our first group. And I'm just going to modulate that by all the way. I'm going to go ahead and turn up the slope in this filter cutoff and turn it up by quite a bit. I'm going to go ahead and also just drag the MIDI from our first snare track. And since it's just noise, it's not really going to matter what note it's on. But yeah, and so it should sound like this. And so yeah, I'm just modulating the filter cutoff, then using the output of our filter to modulate the phase of our square wave. to get a hi-hat. And so now I'm just going to mess with the envelope. And I'm also just going to mess with the harmonic as well. Or you know what I could do is I just turn up the sustain and then add a snap heap, do parallel processing with a convolver. Add the first IR response thing, just compress the heck out of it. I also like to throw on an ensemble onto this, turn down the spread, turn up the detune. I'm going to go ahead and throw a filter on this, turn up the peak filter. Yeah, sweet. So yeah, just put a high pass filter on that. And I didn't add any kind of envelope, just because I'm going to go ahead and record this. And then I'm just going to cut the audio sample inside of the clip here with the fades. I think I'm just going to squish the sound with a clipper. Then I'm going to go ahead and put the filter after all the effects. And so there we go, that is our hi-hat. I can even like throw an LFO just to kind of control the sound a little bit more, and then put a gain, lower it all the way down, and then modulate it by 50%. Ooh, turning down the detune gives it a little bit more of a metallic sound. So I duplicate this. There we go. And so yeah, that's our hi-hat. I hope you guys enjoyed, and make sure to stay tuned because I'm going to be releasing all the presets and samples and the loop that we make with our samples at the end of the series. So yeah, I hope you guys enjoyed, and I will see you in the next one. Adios.